Hi, this is Nikki, and I'm here to share the messages that I get from Spirit and from all of our higher selves that are all helping on this journey to unconditional love. And so what I just want to share today is, again, some really, really touching stories. I felt super emotional this morning when I read these over again, and it just reminds me how utterly beautiful this journey is, and how much this love really does transcend everything and completely blow your mind. So I said yesterday yesterday I did some healings, and the theme is that their divine partners were regretful and annoyed with themselves for wanting to have come forward before, and all the things that they missed out on. And I saw them in the Guggenheim Museum, and they were at the bottom of the staircase looking up at the no, they were at the top of the staircase, and the Guggenheim in New York has a spiral staircase, and the spiral is obviously indicative of your consciousness rising. And then he said to me, I'm just so frustrated that, I've just always wanted to do these sorts of things with my twin, and I'm so frustrated that I haven't been able to do it. And then he's feeling constrained by his situation, and the song was I'm Living in a Box. The next one was he was a bull rider. And, okay, that's so specific. He was a bull rider, and his twin climbed onto his back. He was the bull and she was the rider. So they set the bull out, and the bull is bucking and, all over the place and really, bucking away like crazy. And then eventually the bull calms down, and she manages to stay on the bull the entire time. Now, the same thing, he said that I'm just so, again, I've wasted my life, I've wasted time, and just again very frustrated with himself. And so the healing in both of those cases was that they just need to have courage to come forward, and they have to have the courage to move out of the situations that they're in. And what was the song that came through for that one was Under the Boardwalk, and it was by the Drifters. And at the end of the healing, he said to me, something like, I've drifted for so many years, I just want to come home. Right, so those are the two healings. Now, I've heard back from both of the ladies, and I'm going to read them out. Now, prepare to maybe cry, because I did. So they said, oh my God, Nikki, my body is tingling and my heart is expanding with so much love right now as I read my healing that you sent me. I cannot believe you saw us at the Guggenheim Museum in my healing. In one of my favourite twin flame movies called 5 to 7, I always fast forward to the ending scene. It shows the DM and the DF meeting many years later after separation, and they unexpectedly run into each other in front of the Guggenheim Museum. That is my favourite scene in the movie, and it brings tears to my eyes every time I watch it. And that scene really resonates with me. So when you saw me and my twin there in the healing, it was such a beautiful confirmation. And I'll attach the clip into the description box. I also cried my eyes out when I read what my twin's higher self was thinking and saying in the healing, because my twin in the 3D actually said those words to me. He said that so much time had passed since we were together, and we could have been together and should have been together, and that he was very sorry. And then I was reminded of you and your twin, and you had mentioned that when your twin cancels on you, he always says, I'm afraid. I'm not going to make it, or I'm afraid I'm going to have to cancel. Well, in just about every communication with my twin, he always says, I'm sorry. And it shows that he has some unresolved guilt issues around failure that he's in the process of overcoming. And thank goodness you heard the song Living in a Box. I needed an uplifting musical beat to stop me from crying. The lyrics of the song is exactly what my twin is going through in the 3D. Thank you so much for the healing and bringing me even more confirmation on my journey. You are just like a spirit guide, guiding DMs and DFs together towards their reunion. Well, I actually then watched that I hadn't seen that. Well, first of all, you're so welcome, because it just, it's kind of like, just makes me want to cry. But that film, 5 to 7, I watched that film last night, and during the film they go to different benches because it's all set in New York, and they go to Central Park, and on the benches are little notes that, you know, the plaques that are left on the benches by different couples. And so when I watched the film, there was a message from my twin on the benches as well. So I'm sure for many of you, you would have the same. And so that is what is so beautiful, because in every single one of the healings, I can see that it's all of our higher selves working together, because it's like everyone's twins wanting all of us to come home, which is why it's so beautiful. And just so amazing that he actually said those words to her, because he was very specific to say we could have been together and we should have been together all this time. And the fact that he actually said that just makes me shiver, because it's so specific. Right, the next one. Thank you. This is the bull rider, right? Which again, I mean, I didn't even know a bull rider actually existed. I just thought it was a movie thing. So thank you. This is interesting, since my twin was a bull rider when he was a young man. And I've had a friend say they wondered if he was stuck in regret over all the time gone by and what might have been. I've wondered about it too, and of course thought the same thing, but I know things happened as they needed to happen. At the end of the healing, when he said he feels like he's been drifting his whole life and wants to come home, that's significant, and I just realised why. I might have previously shared a poem I wrote in 1994. In retrospect, I now believe I wrote it about him. It sounds like it's written for my twin soul, but I didn't even know what that was in 1994, and I didn't know about twins until 2015. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to read you this poem, and again, it just, yeah, it's amazing. So this is the poem that the lady wrote. So in 1994. So night, 1,000 years long, filled with silent screams, heard only by those who scream in the same silence. I can feel your pain, sadness and tears, and fear that needing, wanting, finding love will bring emptiness that only love can fill. Afraid to open the door to your heart, you learned so long ago to keep closed. Forgiveness holds the key. Patiently, love awaits for trust and faith to recognize the presence of its open arms, whispering, "Come home." Oh. Can you believe that? So he said at the very end of the healing, he said, I've been drifting for so long, I just want to come home. And the last verse, oh God, it makes me quite patiently, love awaits for trust and faith to recognise the presence of its open arms, whispering, "Come home." So, just so amazing. Because the other thing that happened yesterday, I was then led to watch The Great Gatsby, because that's been coming around again. And there is a part of the film in The Great Gatsby when the film is basically about these two, and he feels that he's not good enough for her, so goes off, gets lots of money, and then comes back. So they meet again, and they're having this amazing time, and then she just starts crying, and he's like, "What's the matter?" And she can't tell him, but what she wants to tell him is that she has lost 5 years of her life, because she should have been with him, and all of the time she wasn't, and they've had this separation. And so this was the day after I did these healings, and it was exactly with the message that these two people's partners were telling me. So again, I burst into tears yesterday. It's been a very emotional time, I must say, over the last couple of days, because doing these healings, it's so touching to be able to give those messages, you know. And of course, when I'm doing it, I just say what I see, you know, and it's not until you come back to me and say the significance of it is that, you know, I can see that it's so touching on the words they tell me. But when they're actually a bull rider in real life, I'm like, what? That's just amazing. So the next one, I did a reading for a Divine Masculine. And this is I just want to share what he wrote, because again, it just shows you how much the divine masculines are coming into themselves. Just, you can tell just purely by the words that they use. So thank you so much. I have difficulty finding the right words at this moment to express the feelings it gave me, but it was intensely beautiful. I will lead us home. So again, it fits very closely with the last healing. So if you're in any doubt, then your twin will come for you, right? You just have to follow your guidance and follow your heart. The songs that have come through are again beautiful, and the message that I'm getting today is to write my twin a love letter. So I have written many love letters to my twin that I've never posted and I, of course, in my journal it's just like one massive love letter. But today there's been so much writing and guidance being given about, you know, letting go of the past, writing the life that you want with your twin. Now it's writing a love letter. So write them a love letter, or write it in your journal. And the other thing is, the song that came through, there have been some beautiful songs. I've put them all into the description box. And I would recommend you listen to all of them, because the lyrics are amazing. Now, this is the song, The Promise. We've had this before, but I'll tell you why this is quite amazing. Is that I'm looking into the comments of this, and there is someone that has my twin's name. So I was like, this is what that needs to say. Every time I listen to this, I cry. For my dad, he passed away. My ex, who just would never understand why we couldn't be together forever. The city I love so much, but have had to leave. The friends I left behind. The person in me who died when life's issues and troubles triumphed over me. I miss the love of another person I haven't felt for years. Maybe I should just stop listening to it, but how could I? Now, I looked because there were 11 replies. And I've said before about Tupac. Now, Tupac is I saw him at... Tupac did a hologram at a music festival that I went to. And I've said before in messages that when I see my twin, it's like seeing him as a hologram. When I see his, his double, his twin soul. And so I'm scrolling down the replies, and sure enough, the name of the person is Eternal Enlightenment. And the message says, I think Tupac said it best. Through every dark night, there's a bright day after that. So no matter how hard it gets, stick your chest out, keep your head up, and handle it. Life's hard, but it will always have its ups and downs, so stay positive and smile. So there you go. That's what your twin wants you to know. I mean, how brilliant. Eternal enlightenment, and it is actually Tupac. Through every dark night, there's a bright day after that. So no matter how hard it gets, stick your chest out, keep your head up, and handle it, because life's hard, but it'll always have its ups and downs, so stay positive and smile. And so then, I mean, that's what's just so amazing, and that is literally by someone that has my twin's name within their name. So again, brilliant. All right, so remember, love is a journey. It's a journey traveling into your own twin soul journey together, which is a beautiful thing. So if you want to have healing from me, or to join the crystal grid, or I do, or to have a reading, then please do. Because honestly, I am always just so... It's so beautiful. I'm left speechless. Absolutely speechless. Okay, thanks so much. Now take care. Bye.